As the opening screen gently fades to darkness, allow your posture to soften and your breath to settle into a slow, easy rhythm. Tonight, we drift backward through time to explore the quiet, timeless relationship between humanity, the honeybee, and the soothing nectar of mead. Long before great cities rose or written words were carefully etched onto stone, ancient human communities shared a deep, quiet reverence for the golden sweetness gathered from wild hives hidden in deep, tranquil forests. Deep within the mist-veiled valley of Jiahu in central China, early villagers crafted a delicate, fermented elixir from nature's quiet harvest. In 2004, molecular archaeologist Patrick McGovern identified traces of the world's oldest known fermented drink inside 9,000-year-old Neolithic pottery from Jiahu, China, a tranquil infusion of wild honey mead, hawthorn fruit, wild grapes, and rice. This gentle earthenware vessel held not just an ancient beverage, but a harmonic blend of wild forest and orchard notes, preserved within porous clay through thousands of years of quiet silence. To contemplate such memory held in stone and clay is to touch a tradition as old as human settlement itself, where wild honey was treasured as a rare, golden gift of peace, health, and quiet sustenance. As centuries turned into millennia, the practice of tending bees evolved from simple foraging into a patient, deliberate art of gentle stewardship. Along the sunlit, reed-lined banks of the ancient Nile, early apiarists developed gentle methods of care that respected the delicate rhythm and quiet nature of the hive. A 2450 BCE carved relief from the Sun Temple of Nusira at Abu Ghorab depicts Egyptian beekeepers using soft herbal smoke to gently calm bees, carefully pulling honeycomb from horizontal mud cylinders before pressing and sealing the golden liquid into clay jars. Imagine the steady, rhythmic movements of those early keepers working under the warm Egyptian sky. The gentle puff of aromatic herbal smoke drifting on a faint desert breeze, the soft murmur of thousands of wings, and the careful handling of unbaked mud tubes stacked neatly in long, shaded rows. Honey was not merely harvested. It was gathered with deep reverence, stored carefully in cool earthenware vessels to preserve its warmth, fragrance, and soothing sweetness for seasons yet to come. There is something deeply comforting in knowing that the simple act of listening to the quiet hum of a hive and tasting its golden yield has remained largely unchanged across thousands of years. The soft smoke that calmed the bees along the Nile still drifts through quiet apiaries today, bridging distant eras with a single, familiar scent of smoldering herbs and dried leaves. In every jar of honey and every slow, thoughtful sip of traditional mead lies the quiet dedication of millions of tiny wings, visiting countless wild blossoms under peaceful morning suns. The amber liquid carries the memory of forgotten meadows, gentle rains, and patient afternoons when time seemed to slow down. As night folds around us and we begin our journey into this quiet craft, let your thoughts settle as smoothly as golden honey pouring into a glass jar. Let the warmth of these ancient stories wrap around you like a soft wool blanket, inviting complete rest, stillness, and deep, restorative sleep. Across the long, unhurried stretches of human memory, the soft whisper of wild honey has always echoed with a comforting, golden warmth. Long before humanity fashioned structured apiaries or aligned hives in quiet rows, early gatherers learned to follow the distant, rhythmic hum of wild bees through sunlit woodlands, seeking the precious drops hidden within hollow oak trunks and sheltered stone crevices. In those quiet centuries, every drop of honey carried the concentrated essence of 1,000 blossoms, captured under the gentle warmth of midsummer skies. When this golden harvest was combined with pure, cool spring water and allowed to rest in the slow darkness of earthenware jars or bark vessels, nature worked its silent alchemy, transforming simple sweetness into an ancient elixir of peace. To understand the true depth of our quiet relationship with the honeybee is to step back into an era where time moved to the slow, measured pulse of the sun and seasons, leaving behind faint, yet remarkable traces buried beneath centuries of moss, silt, and calm peat soil. It is within these silent, undisturbed depths of the earth that the long history of ancient brewing reveals its most peaceful secrets. In 1370 BCE, a young woman buried near Egtved, Denmark, was interred with a birch bark bucket, holding a calm Bronze Age mead brewed from wild honey, malted wheat, tart lingonberries, and fragrant bog myrtle, leaving behind yellow pollen grains of lime tree flowers preserved for 3 millennia. Wrapped safely in thick layers of bark and sheltered from light, the vessel kept its silent vigil across centuries. This humble container was far more than a simple funeral offering. It was a deeply personal keepsake of comfort, carefully crafted from the familiar flora of her surrounding landscape. The delicate yellow grains of lime blossom pollen, miraculously preserved across thousands of changing seasons, speak to vibrant midsummer days when ancient linden trees bloomed in full, sweet fragrance, calling forth thousands of foraging bees whose quiet labors were captured in that single vessel. The natural tartness of small red berries softened the rich density of the wild honey, while the crushed leaves of bog myrtle infused the liquid with a soothing, resinous herbal note, grounding the drink in the cool, moist air of northern bogs. As the peaceful stillness of evening settles around us now, we can easily picture the patient hands that gathered those summer blossoms and steeped the wild herbs so long ago. Bog myrtle, with its lingering perfume of pine and earth, was chosen intentionally for its gentle bitterness and warming qualities, soothing the body much like the soft hush of a twilight breeze moving across open fields. The addition of malted wheat gave the brew a smooth, nourishing body, bridging the wild sweetness of honey with the cozy comfort of early agricultural harvests. Every element resting within that ancient birch bucket reflects a profound dedication to stillness, the gradual process of wild fermentation beneath timber covers, the slow settling of natural yeasts, and the quiet preservation of midsummer light, as those golden pollen grains slept undisturbed through thousands of calm nights. They held safe the memory of sun-warmed blossoms, waiting in silence to remind us of the timeless, tranquil connection shared between human hearts, flowering trees, and the gentle honeybee. As we drift toward sleep, we feel that same quiet serenity resting over the world, inviting a deep, restful calm. Long before modern apiaries dotted rural landscapes, early civilizations learned to cultivate a delicate, enduring partnership with the honeybee, honoring the steady, peaceful rhythm of their daily work. In the 10th century BCE city of Tel Rahav in the Jordan Valley, ancient apiarists tended over 100 unbaked clay cylinder hives filled with gentle Anatolian honeybees imported from distant mountain regions for their tranquil temperament and rich honey yields. These sun-dried terracotta cylinders were arranged side by side in orderly rows under shaded arbors, carefully sheltered from the relentless glare and dry heat of the midday desert sun. The ancient keepers moved through the quiet apiary with slow, deliberate grace, understanding that gentle hands and steady, calm breathing kept the busy colonies entirely at peace. A low, soothing hum from tens of thousands of translucent wings vibrated softly through the warm air, mingling with the soft rustle of river reeds and the quiet drift of the evening breeze. Honey during this golden era was far more than simple nourishment. It was liquid sunlight preserved for cool desert nights, a precious sweetness gathered drop by drop through patient summer months, forever binding human care to the geometric perfection of the honeycomb. As harvest seasons gently turned into quiet winter evenings, honey became the vital heart of ancient hospitality, turning modest family gatherings into memorable feasts of warmth, comfort, and fellowship. Beyond the sunlit Jordan Valley, across the trade routes that connected distant Bronze Age civilizations, golden honey was frequently blended with fermented grains and crushed fruits to create complex, deeply comforting beverages meant to honor royal guests and ease the physical burdens of long travel. Chemical analysis of 2,700-year-old bronze vessels from Tomb MM at Gordian, Turkey, revealed remnants of an ancient golden feast drink crafted from wild honey mead, dark barley beer, and grape wine, lightly perfumed with yellow saffron. Imagine those ornate bronze cauldrons and heavy drinking cups glowing under the soft, flickering light of olive oil lamps, holding a rich amber elixir that perfectly harmonized the floral sweetness of wild mountain blossoms with the grounding depth of roasted barley and the subtle perfume of exotic autumn spices. Sipping such a masterfully blended drink offered an immersive sensory journey across the ancient landscape, a quiet tapestry woven from sun-drenched grain fields, high mountain pastures, and peaceful vineyard terraces fading into twilight. The subtle, fragrant whisper of yellow saffron would drift softly upward with every warm sip, quietly reminding all who shared the cup of the meticulous, dedicated labor required to harvest both delicate flower threads and wild forest honey from the earth. As night deepened and soft shadows stretched across cool stone floors, the gentle warmth of the fermented mead spread through body and spirit, bringing deep relaxation to hands that had shaped raw clay, tilled fertile soil, or guided bees back to their hives before nightfall. The patient art of the apiarist and the quiet mastery of the ancient brewer converged in that single golden vessel, preserving the tranquility of ancient summers across thousands of years. Even tonight, as silence settles over the world and everyday thoughts drift away, that same timeless serenity remains, carrying your spirit into a calm, restorative sleep. Across the quiet centuries, human hands have gathered the subtle gifts of the hive, transforming sweet summer harvests into a drink that honored both life and stillness. Long before modern cellars came to be, ancient communities held deep reverence for the miraculous transformation of wild honey, viewing its slow fermentation as a natural, sacred continuation of the landscape's own calm rhythms. In 530 BCE, a Celtic chieftain was laid to rest at Hochdorf, Germany, beside a massive bronze cauldron holding 400 liters of golden mead, fermented from over 200 kilograms of late summer forest honey rich in wildflower pollen. This quiet gift, placed with tender care within the earth's cool embrace, speaks of a profound gratitude for the surrounding forest and the untiring, silent work of countless honeybees. To lay such vast abundance beside a departed leader was to offer a lingering taste of warmth, sunlit blossoms, and peaceful rest for a journey into the unknown. The golden liquid remained softly protected within its bronze vessel, preserving the vibrant memory of quiet clearings, ancient oaks, and the gentle humming of summer long after the voices of that ancient era had fallen silent. As agricultural knowledge and quiet craftsmanship expanded across the Mediterranean world, the art of mead making grew gentle and refined, guided by the patient observation of seasonal skies, flowing waters, and warm breezes. Scholars and farmers alike documented methods that harmonized gracefully with the natural cycles of the sun, relying on simple, pure elements to draw out the honey's rich, fragrant character over unhurried months. In his first-century agricultural treatise, Roman writer Columella described a peaceful method for crafting solar mead by mixing pure honey with aged rainwater in oak casks, letting the liquid quietly ferment under 40 days of warm summer sunlight. This tranquil process required no harsh haste or complex machinery, only the steady, gentle warmth of midsummer afternoon light and the breathing grain of carefully crafted oak barrels. as the soft sunlight warmed the dark wood of the casks day after day. The mixture stirred gently within, allowing wild yeast and natural sugars to weave together into a smooth, soothing elixir. The subtle interplay of soft rainwater, forest honey, and golden sunbeams created a drink deeply infused with the serene rhythm of summer days, drifting effortlessly into quiet, resting twilights. There is a timeless tranquility in knowing that for thousands of years, people have paused to watch liquid gold transform under the gentle, unhurried influence of time, air, and warmth. Whether buried beneath the quiet earth inside a grand bronze cauldron, or resting softly beneath the golden glow of 40 summer days, Mead has always carried within it the true essence of rest and patience. The slow, harmonious blending of floral nectar, pure water, and ambient warmth reminds us to quiet our thoughts, mirroring the peaceful, unhurried work of nature all around us. Each amber drop holds the quiet memory of wild blossoms swaying in an evening breeze, the diligent, soft flight of bees across silent meadows, and the peaceful care of ancient hands. As the darkness of night settles softly around us now, we can draw deep comfort from these ancient, peaceful traditions, allowing our minds to settle like honey resting in wood, completely at peace with the quiet passage of time. As late afternoon turns to twilight over the Emerald Hills, a deep stillness settles across the ancient countryside, where human life once moved in quiet rhythm with the natural world. Long ago, the keeping of bees was held not merely as a practical craft, but as a sacred stewardship requiring stillness, reverence, and soft steps. In the damp morning mists and golden evening glows, beekeepers walked among straw skeps, placed carefully near hedgerows of white hawthorn, elderberry, and wild clover. The gentle hum of the hive was recognized as a melody of peace, a steady pulse that anchored the surrounding valley in calm tranquility. Here, where the damp earth exhaled the fresh scent of fern, damp peat, and moss, the bee skeps stood like small earthen sanctuaries upon the green land. People understood that the hives brought warmth, sweetness, and soft light to cold winter nights in the form of golden honey and clean beeswax. Because of this treasured gift, the space surrounding the bees was treated with a gentle, enduring respect that softened the sharp edges of daily life and quieted the restless mind. This reverence for the hive was so deeply woven into the fabric of early society that even the ancient laws of the land sought to safeguard the quiet spirit of the apiary. Under the 7th century Irish legal code Becbretha, apiaries were protected under peaceful sanctuary laws, where hive disputes were settled with jars of aged mead, seasoned with sweet gale, and stored in quiet hazelwood casks. Rather than meeting discord with harsh words or conflict, neighbors who disagreed over the ownership of a wandering swarm or the boundary of a foraging pasture would gather together in quiet resolution. They smoothed away lingering grievances over shared vessels of golden, herbal brew, allowing the gentle resinous notes of sweet gale to balance the deep floral richness of honey, while the seasoned hazelwood imparted a soft, woody calm to every drop. The law recognized that the peaceful, selfless work of the bees should inspire equal harmony among those who tended them, ensuring that even legal matters were resolved with the lingering warmth of the hive. Inside the cool dark of earthen cellars, those hazelwood casks rested silently through the changing seasons, listening to the slow turn of the year and the steady patter of rainfall on the thatch above. Beyond the shelter of the cellar walls, the night wind whispers through ancient oak branches, carrying the scent of damp earth and distant heather into the calm air. The sweet gale, gathered carefully from foggy bog margins, infused the aging mead with a gentle piney fragrance, preserving a memory of wild summer wetlands cradled within honeyed warmth. As the night deepens, one can almost feel the quiet weight of those ancient casks, resting in the cool gloom, while outside, the bees cluster closely together in the heart of their hive for warmth. Each drop of that vintage was a testament to patience, requiring long months of quiet rest before it was ever poured or shared. Ancient beekeeping reminded all who listened that true sweetness comes from quiet patience, and that peace, once cultivated around the hive, can spread outward to steady every mind and quiet every heart under the evening stars. As nightfall settles softly over the landscape, we travel back through centuries of human patience, where the simple art of mead making rested upon the quiet gifts of nature. Long before modern brewing techniques existed, ancient makers gathered wild blossoms to steep into their golden honeyed brews, seeking both subtle flavor and restful aromas to soothe the senses at the end of the day. Deep beneath the modern streets of York, England, at the historical site of Coppergate, archaeologists excavating a 10th century Viking Age workshop in 1978 discovered wooden oak drinking vessels retaining micro traces of Meadowsweet pollen * Philippendula ulmaria, a sweet blossom traditionally used to impart a calm, almond-like aroma to ancient mead. These oak staves, preserved for over 1,000 years in moist, dark soil, offered a silent whisper of everyday life in the medieval North. Imagine holding one of those sturdy cups in the soft firelight of a timber hall, breathing in the delicate perfume of summer fields captured within a warm, amber liquid. The gentle essence of Meadowsweet was far more than a simple flavoring. It served as a peaceful bridge between the cozy warmth of the hearth and the untamed beauty of the outdoors, grounding each sip in a shared reverence for the earth's quietest offerings. Farther to the east, among the vast, ancient woodlands of Eastern Europe, the relationship between human hands, wild bees, and living trees took on an even more profound and contemplative form. Beginning in the 14th century, forest apiarists in Poland bioloieza, primeval forest practiced *bartnictwo, carving quiet hive hollows high inside living pine trees, marked with family symbols, *CSI, and aging rich *dwajniak, mead in cool subterranean cellars. Moving quietly beneath towering, moss-draped canopies, these forest guardians used specialized ropes and ladders to ascend tens of feet into the pine boughs, carefully hollowing out natural cavities that sheltered wild swarms from harsh winds and winter cold. The unique markings etched into the thick bark served as enduring seals of stewardship, ensuring that each tree hive was protected and tended by the same lineage generation after generation. High above the forest floor, surrounded only by the rustle of pine needles and the steady, soothing hum of thousands of honeybees, the beekeepers worked with an unhurried grace that honored both the tree and the colony within. After the golden honey harvest was gently gathered, the art of patience continued deep beneath the forest floor in a realm of total stillness. Down in cool subterranean vaults, where the temperature remained constant through summer heat and winter snows, large oak casks filled with Dwajniak *, a rich mead crafted from equal proportions of raw honey, and pure spring water were left to age undisturbed for years, sometimes even decades. In this silent underground retreat, the brew breathed slowly through the wood, allowing the intense sweetness of wild honey to soften into complex layers of pine resin, dried fruit, and delicate floral undertones. Time moved differently in those subterranean cellars, measured not by hours or days, but by the quiet, imperceptible transformation taking place inside each vessel. To savor such a mead was to taste the very rhythm of the earth itself, reminding us that true richness cannot be rushed. As the night deepens, we too can let go of the day's concerns and rest in that same patient quiet, falling gently asleep to the peaceful cadence of ancient traditions. As dusk settles over mountain slopes, the relationship between humans and bees takes on forms both practical and deeply artistic. High in the quiet valleys of 18th century Slovenia, traditional apiarists painted soft folk art onto wooden hive front boards called panjkonchnes to help native Carniolan bees quietly recognize their home boxes beneath the shadowed peaks of the Julian Alps. These hand-carved panels, washed in subtle pigments of indigo, ochre, and soft forest green, depicted scenes of rural life, gentle animals, and traditional folklore, creating a visual tapestry along the apiary walls. To the foraging workers returning home through the cool alpine air, these distinct motifs provided a familiar beacon among rows of identical wooden shelters. Each decorated board served as a silent guardian of the colony's threshold, where thousands of tiny wings settled into rest after a long day of gathering nectar from mountain wildflowers. The quiet care invested in these painted frontals reflected a profound respect for the hive acknowledging that even the smallest creatures respond to beauty, order, and the restful sanctuary of a place uniquely their own. This reverence for the harvest extended far beyond the mountain apiaries, carrying the sweet yield of the comb into cool, subterranean chambers, where patience transformed simple honey into comforting elixirs. Across the sea, such quiet dedication was meticulously recorded by those who understood the restorative nature of patient craftsmanship. In his 1669 manuscript, The Closet Opened Asterisk, English polymath Sir Kenelm Digby preserved over 100 Mead recipes, including a soft metheglin brewed from pure hill spring water, sweet marjoram, and fresh rosemary blossoms, allowed to slowly mature in quiet cellars, in the subterranean stillness of stone-lined cellars. These herbal infusions rested undisturbed inside oak casks for months, allowing the sharp clarity of mountain water to blend seamlessly with the floral sweetness of honey and the delicate, earthy fragrance of garden herbs. Digby's notes spoke of a gentle science, one where heat was applied with utmost restraint, allowing natural yeasts to work without hurry, and where time itself acted as the primary ingredient in rounding out every subtle flavor. The addition of marjoram and rosemary brought a peaceful, botanical warmth to the golden drink, echoing the fragrant hillsides from which the nectar was first gathered. In these quiet cellars, away from the rustle of leaves and the shift of seasons, the transformation of honey into mead moved at its own unhurried pace. The air in these rooms remained cool and constant, smelling faintly of seasoned wood, dried herbs, and honeyed wax. To brew such metheglins was to practice an exercise in stillness, listening to the soft, rhythmic bubble of fermentation in the darkened hush. Just as the Slovenian beekeepers offered their colonies peaceful, recognizable homes beneath the alpine shadows, the early mead makers provided their brews with a serene refuge in which to mature. Both traditions shared a single guiding truth: that the finest things in life cannot be rushed, but must be granted space to settle, breathe, and gently come into their fullest harmony. As the night deepens, the memory of these ancient crafts invites a similar stillness, encouraging the mind to rest, to let go of the day's tasks, and to drift into a deep and tranquil quietness where time unwinds like a gentle stream. Far across the warm, tropical expanse, where sun-dappled rainforests meet gentle coastal breezes, another quiet tradition of human devotion to the bee unfolded over countless generations. Here, beneath the leafy canopy of the Yucatan Peninsula, the rhythm of morning mist and humid afternoon heat dictated a pace of life deeply attuned to the natural world. The forest floor, carpeted with soft mosses and fallen blossoms, echoed only with the gentle hum of small wings moving through the humid shade. In this tranquil environment, ancient stingless bees gathered nectar from native wildflowers, visiting the subtle white blossoms of native trees and secret forest vines that bloomed in quiet sequence throughout the year. The keepers of these gentle insects moved with a practiced, reverent slowness, understanding that true craft cannot be rushed, but must grow organically from patience, observation, and respect for the intricate order of nature. The air in these traditional forest sanctuaries carried the sweet, earthy aroma of wild nectar, resinous propolis, and damp earth, creating a serene haven where time seemed to soften and expand into absolute, comforting stillness. For over 2 millennia, across the Yucatan Peninsula, Maya apiarists have cultured stingless *Melipona beachy bees inside hollow log hives called *Jabon, sealing the ends with soft limestone discs that were removed only during quiet seasonal honey harvests. These unique wooden cylinders, carved from fallen timber and suspended carefully beneath thatched shelters, protected the delicate colonies from strong wind, heavy rains, and bright sunlight. The stingless bees formed intricate networks of wax pots within the dark wood, storing liquid gold that was imbued with citrusy notes and herbal undertones. To open a log hive was to engage in a ritual of quiet gratitude. The soft limestone plugs were gently set aside, allowing the apiarist to draw small amounts of ripe honey using clean wooden scoops without ever disturbing the peaceful colony. The honey harvested from these peaceful hives held a place of great honor, treasured not only for its distinct, complex flavor, but also for its soothing medicinal qualities and its role in brewing traditional ceremonial beverages that brought communities together in calm, quiet reflection. When blended with pristine rainwater and infused with aromatic barks or forest roots, this specialized honey fermented slowly into a soothing amber elixir of remarkable depth and grace. The fermentation process unfolded in shaded stone vessels, undisturbed by the rush of daily tasks, resting quietly as wild yeasts transformed sweetness into subtle complexity. In the stillness of dusk, as cool evening shadows stretched across the forest clearing, the soft bubbling of the fermenting mead echoed the gentle rhythm of the apiary itself. Drinking such a brew was a meditative experience, offering warmth, ease, and a deep connection to the ancient trees and quiet bees of the peninsula. Tonight, that same ancient stillness invites a soothing respite from the worries of the day. As the memory of buzzing wings and fragrant woods lingers softly in the mind, the surrounding world grows quiet, inviting a tranquil release into restful sleep. The gentle harmony between keeper, bee, and earth remains an enduring testament to the quiet beauty of slow living, whispering a soft reassurance as nighttime settles gently over the land. Across ancient landscapes, the union of honey, pure water, and wild mountain flora has taken many quiet forms, each rooted deeply in the peaceful rhythms of its native soil and climate. high above mist-shrouded valleys. For over 1,000 years across the Ethiopian highlands, traditional brewers have crafted tej by steeping raw forest honey and mountain spring water with the woody twigs of the *gesho* plant, *rhamnus prinades, leaving the mixture to quietly ferment inside cool earthenware vessels. The subtle, pleasant bitterness of the *gesho branches balances the deep, floral sweetness of the wild forest honey, creating a deeply soothing beverage that matures slowly in the dark comfort of porous clay. As the golden elixir slumbers undisturbed in the cool shadows of traditional homesteads, native wild microflora softly transform the liquid, mirroring the patient, steady cadence of the bees that first gathered the woodland nectar. This ancient craft speaks to a gentle, enduring partnership between human hands and the natural world, where time, quiet shadow, and patient stillness are granted all the space they need to complete their subtle work. This deep reverence for the honeybee's quiet work inspired apiarists through the centuries to observe the internal life of the hive with ever greater tenderness and patient wonder. For many generations, gathering honey often meant accidentally disrupting the fragile wax architecture and disturbing the peaceful flow of hive life, until observant keepers began to closely study the natural geometry of the bee's self-built home. In October 1851, Philadelphia apiarist Lorenzo Langstroth observed that honeybees naturally preserve a quiet passageway of 6 to 9 millimeters between honeycomb structures, leading to the invention of the movable frame hive that allowed peaceful honey harvests without disturbing the colony. This simple yet profound discovery of what came to be known as the precise bee space transformed the practice of beekeeping from an intrusive disruption into a soft, cooperative art. Wooden frames could now be lifted smoothly into the warm afternoon light, checked with calm care, and returned gently to their places without damaging fragile wax comb walls or alarming the queen and her diligent daughters. In both the slow, dark aging of traditional earthenware vessels and the careful spatial design of movable wooden frames, there exists a shared, quiet tradition of soft stewardship and gentle reverence. When we listen to the steady, comforting murmur of a resting hive, or watch raw honey stream in golden ribbons into a waiting glass jar, we join a long, peaceful lineage of patient observers across history. The precise spatial boundaries honored by the bees remind us that true harmony often rests upon subtle gaps and thoughtful space, allowing both the colony and its keeper to flourish together in quiet, enduring balance. As dusk falls gently across the quiet fields and the cool night air lulls the surrounding garden to sleep, the bees nestle softly within their perfectly spaced comb, while the honeyed brew slumbers peacefully in its clay vessel, leaving the evening wrapped in a calm, timeless rest. As twilight deepens over the quiet apiary, the internal temperature of the cluster stabilizes into a soothing, gentle warmth. Within the dark sanctuary of the hive, building work continues at a tranquil, unhurried pace. To construct honeycomb, worker bees secrete 8 micro-thin wax flakes from ventral abdominal glands at a warm body temperature of 33 to 36 degrees Celsius. Gently chewing each flake with salivary enzymes before shaping it into paper-thin hexagonal cells. This architectural ritual is carried out entirely by touch in the absolute stillness of the brood frame, where thousands of tiny legs and mandibles work in silent unison. Each tiny cell emerges with mathematical precision, designed to hold either the golden harvest of summer nectar or the quiet nursery of the next generation. The scent of warm beeswax and sweet propolis fills the narrow passages, carrying a deep sense of security and ancient purpose. There is no haste in their movements, only a steady, rhythmic labor that has remained unchanged for millions of seasons. As the wax cools and hardens into translucent amber walls, it forms a delicate lattice capable of supporting many times its weight in pure, fragrant honey. Deeper within these wax comb halls, a subtle acoustic harmony hums through the wooden frame, carrying gentle messages across the quiet darkness. Long before they step out into the sunlit world, young queens prepare for their future role with subtle, soothing vibrations. Before emerging from their wax cells, unhatched virgin queen bees communicate through the hive by producing a soft, low-frequency sound of 350 to 500 hertz, known as quacking, to which the reigning queen gently responds with a calm, piping tone. This soft vocal dialogue creates a calm resonance within the hive, assuring the colony of continuity and peaceful transitions to come. The worker bees tend to these nursery cells with quiet devotion, resting their legs upon the vibrating wax to feel the reassuring signals of life growing within. The exchange of frequencies feels almost like a lullaby whispered through the comb, anchoring the colony in a shared, timeless rhythm. Outside, the night air grows cool, but inside, the sound carries a reassuring warmth that lulls the entire structure into a peaceful equilibrium. In the stillness of the evening, the gentle work of the hive reflects the patience of the craft itself, where time is measured not in hours, but in the steady drip of honey and the slow aging of sweet mead. Every drop of nectar brought home, and every cell of pristine wax built during the daylight hours contributes to the deep, enduring calm of the hive during the night. The beekeeper, having finished the day's quiet rounds, leaves the wooden boxes resting peacefully beneath the starry sky, knowing that the intricate life within requires no interference, only quiet stewardship, as the ambient noise of the outside world slowly fades into silence. The steady hum of the bees remains a grounding backdrop, steady and enduring. It is a reminder of the quiet harmony found in nature's oldest traditions, where every small creature plays its part with soft efficiency. Now, As the stars drift across the darkened sky, the hive rests comfortably in its golden warmth, wrapped in the quiet beauty of beeswax, soft song, and the gentle promise of tomorrow's dawn. As twilight begins to paint the evening sky in soft hues of violet and indigo, a quiet stillness slowly settles over the apiary. The long, golden shadows of late afternoon dissolve into the gentle coolness of dusk, signaling to the surrounding meadows and flower-filled valleys that another day of patient labor has reached its peaceful close. Across the quiet landscape, the faint hum of wings grows softer as the air cools, and the wild blossoms tuck their delicate petals away until morning. Inside the wooden hives, the warm air remains rich with the complex aromas of gathered nectar, tree resins, and fresh comb wax, holding the collected warmth of the summer sunshine within their sturdy, protective walls. The beekeeper stands quietly near the entrance, watching the last gentle movements of the day, listening to the rhythmic, comforting murmur of thousands of tiny lives settling into their evening rest. Everything about this transitional hour speaks of completion, rhythm, and enduring peace, as the busy energy of daytime gathering transforms into a shared, tranquil sanctuary beneath the emerging stars. Near the wooden hive entrance, a small group of guardian worker bees steps out onto the landing board to welcome the remaining travelers home. Positioned at the threshold, as the dimming light turns the surrounding trees into silent, towering silhouettes, these dedicated workers raise their abdomens toward the evening sky to reveal the small, specialized Nasanov gland, while softly fanning their delicate wings to disperse a soothing fragrance into the twilight breeze. This released scent, rich in natural geraniol and citral, carries a delicate, rose-like aroma through the evening air, acting as an invisible beacon that gently guides any wandering late-season foragers back across the darkening fields to their home. It is a quiet mechanism of remarkable precision and subtle elegance, relying not on visual signals or urgent calls, but on a gentle perfume carried by a soft current of moving air. As the stragglers catch this familiar, comforting scent drifting across the meadow, their flight turns steady and true, leading them safely down to the wooden ledge where their sisters patiently wait in the dusk. With the arrival of the final foragers, the hive threshold grows still and quiet, and the soft scent of sweet rose lingering in the evening air gradually blends into the deeper, earthy aromas of wild lavender, sage, and damp soil. Inside the dark, warm chamber of the hive, the returnees are welcomed with gentle grooming and shared nectar, passing the day's golden harvest down through the orderly ranks of the colony. The steady, low hum that fills the hive throughout the night is the sound of collective harmony, a gentle, rhythmic breathing that maintains the ideal temperature and preserves the golden mead's sweet origin in its waxen cells. Out in the quiet apiary, the night deepens, wrapping the hives in a protective shroud of calm darkness. The ancient relationship between the land, the bees, and the craft of keeping them rests peacefully once more, waiting for the morning light to awaken the fields. While within the wooden sanctuary, every creature rests securely, safe in the warm embrace of home. As twilight deepens across the quiet landscape, a soft hush settles over the wooden hives and the surrounding apiary. The long hours of daytime foraging come to a peaceful end, and the cool evening air begins to drift through the surrounding trees. Inside the sheltered wooden walls, the warmth gathered throughout the sunlit day is tenderly preserved by the community within. The aroma of rich wax, honey, and quiet wood fills the hive, creating an atmosphere of deep safety and calm. As the outer temperatures slowly begin to drop, the inner sanctuary remains perfectly cradled in steady, comforting heat. During cool twilight hours inside the hive, nurse bees maintain a precise brood warmth of 35 degrees Celsius by quietly vibrating their flight muscles without moving their wings, creating a gentle, radiant warmth for the developing larvae. This invisible, soft hum of thermal energy radiates continuously through the wax comb, ensuring that the next generation slumbers safely in their hexagonal cradles, carefully nurtured by the silent, collective devotion of the colony. Nearby, in the quiet darkness of the stone cellar, the vessels of honey and water rest in their own slow, peaceful transformation. The golden mead, born from months of gathering nectar across sun-drenched meadows, now slumbers undisturbed in polished oak casks and glass carboys. Time moves gently in these cool shadows, allowing every subtle note of wildflower, clover, and ancient forest blossom to mellow into a harmonious, soothing liquid. There is no rush in the cellar, only the steady, patient unfolding of an age-old tradition. Just as the honey inside the aging barrels quietly matures in the darkness, the hive above settles into its own deep, rhythmic quiet. The ancient craft of mead making and the natural life of the honeybee draw together toward the same serene conclusion, where effort gives way to profound stillness, and the industrious energy of summer surrenders to the quiet rest of the night. Deep within the heart of the hive, where the rich scent of beeswax and sweet propolis fills every corner, the busy work of the day dissolves completely into night. The final foragers have returned from the fields, brushing the day's last dust of pollen from their legs, and clustering closely together along the geometric wax frames. The bustling movement of the afternoon slows to a gentle, motionless calm during deep, nightly rest inside the quiet darkness of the hive. Worker bees enter a relaxed physiological sleep state, identified by neurobiologist Walter Kaiser in 1983, gently drooping their antennae, relaxing their flight muscles, and remaining completely still until dawn. In this silent sanctuary, their bodies soften against the warm comb, completely motionless and untroubled, suspended in total ease until the first pale light of morning begins to warm the horizon. Everything now rests in gentle, harmonious alignment. The sweet honey lies quiet in its wax comb. The golden mead rests undisturbed in its cool barrel, and the bees sleep peacefully in the steady warmth of their home. Outside, the night sky stretches wide and silent, filled with soft starlight. Breath grows slow, deep, and even in the gathering dark. As the night deepens, there is nothing left to achieve, and nothing left to seek, only the gentle invitation to allow the mind to drift alongside the quiet rhythm of the sleeping world, cradled in silence, wrapped in warmth, and drifting peacefully into sleep.